Welcome to another It's a Mystery, where we attempt to unravel some of the world's most intriguing mysteries.
Join us as we try to find a solution to these strange cases.
Do ghosts really exist? Is it possible to catch one? We show you how.
We follow a gruesome trail in an attempt to solve the macabre mystery of a missing human head.
We reveal photographic evidence of creatures from an alien world.
It's a mystery what happened to a human head that disappeared over 300 years ago.
This man is Oliver Cromwell. Over 300 years ago, on the 3rd of September 1658, just as darkness fell, Cromwell took one long last breath and died. His body was then embalmed in preserving oils to keep it from rotting. But 3 years after he was buried, under the cover of darkness, his body was dug up because Parliament had decreed that Cromwell was a traitor. The corpse was hung on the gallows and his head was cut off at the neck. But the mystery is, where's his head now? Let's start this gruesome trail at the beginning. When his head had been chopped off, it was squeezed onto a sharp spike and placed up on top of this building for all to see. Then one dark night, some 25 years later, with a howling wind whipping through the night sky, a sentry on guard duty heard a loud thud. The wind had blown the head off the spike. Realising that it might be something worth having, he checked that no one was watching and snuck away with the head hidden under his cloak. Back at the sentry's house, with the fierce gale still blowing outside, he thrust the disembodied head up into a secret hiding hole in his chimney. The very next morning, notices were hammered up all over London, demanding that the head be returned at once, or else. Terrified of the trouble he would find himself in, the sentry told no one of the gruesome secret hidden in his chimney. It was only many years later, as he lay on his deathbed, that with his last gasp, he whispered his secret to his wife. So where did the severed head end up next? Well, the trail leads through a number of dark and mysterious owners to a museum of curiosities that would have been here, just off Old Bond Street in London. Here, people would have paid a whole day's salary just to stare in horror at the now famous severed head. When the museum closed its doors for the last time, the embalmed head was sold on to a comedian who sold it to a jeweller for the princely sum of £230. But then the trail seems to end. It seemed to have just vanished, until the trail picks up again and leads to a wealthy family from Kent. For over 150 years, the family kept the severed head a secret to all, except a select group of close friends. And, at special and secret occasions over dinner, the friends would huddle together to be shown by candlelight the severed head. Ugh!
So what happened to the head? Does it still exist? And if so, where is it now?
Well, after tracking the 300-year-old trail, I discovered that yes, the embalmed and severed head does still exist, and I finally found its resting place. You see, at long last, the family decided to give the head a decent and proper burial somewhere here at Oliver Cromwell's old university, Cambridge.
But the mystery doesn't end there, because the exact whereabouts of the head is still a mystery, and only 4 people know where it is.
Including the man who works here, Nicholas Rogers of Cambridge University. Nicholas, do you know exactly where the head is?
Yes, I do.
And how do you know?
The secret was passed down to me by my predecessor
So how long ago was it buried?
30 years ago.
What condition was it in when it was buried?
Remarkably good, considering all it's been through. It even had some hair left on it.
Now, will you, Nicholas Rogers, tell us exactly where the head is buried?
No.
You're not going to tell us?
No, I won't.
Why not?
Because it's an absolute secret.
So Oliver Cromwell's head does still exist and is buried somewhere in the grounds of Cambridge University. But where exactly? You'd have to ask the expert, and he's not telling.
It's a mystery how you can catch a ghost.
Now, do ghosts really exist? And if so, is it possible to catch one? Well, here are 2 separate incidents claiming to have caught a ghost on film. Is this the ghost of the Brown Lady of Rainham, who was said to haunt Rainham Hall in Norfolk?
And does this strange photograph show the ghostly image of a dog? There was no sign of a dog when the picture was taken. It only materialised when the film was developed.
What do you think? Is it really possible to catch a ghost?
We've got Nigel and Angela Grainger with us, 2 top ghostbusters or paranormal investigators. Nigel and Angela are in charge of a large organisation called Sightings. What do you think of our photographs? Could they have caught a ghost on camera?
I think the figure on the staircase definitely could be a ghost.
But I tend to be more sceptical with the one of the dog, because that could be a double take or the dog could have moved later.
Now, photography is one way of catching ghosts, but you use lots of high-tech equipment. Could you show us a few
Yes, we
things?
do. One of the things we use is an image intensifier. That's used to help us to see better in the dark. So if there is a ghost, you can see it more clearly.
And this thermometer's got a probe on the end of it. What's that for?
Well, if we think there's a ghostly presence, usually it becomes very cold and very chilly in that area, and we can use the probe just to test that area to see if it is very cold as we think.
We also use an array of computer sensors to help us monitor the locations. One of the things we use is this Geiger counter to measure background radiation.
And if I wanted to find out whether ghosts exist, is there a cheap and easy way that I could do it?
Well, yes, just go along to your library and have a look and research there any books on local legends or hauntings, and also any of family or friends, older members usually are more helpful. They know of the local haunted places.
Okay, so you found a good place to start. Maybe a dark and creepy area of your house, or even your bedroom. And then what? Well, you need to lay your traps. Now, obviously, we can't all afford the sort of high-tech equipment that Angela and Nigel have, so they have put together a trail of low-tech ways of trying to catch a ghost in a room like this.
So we've got lots of great stuff here, Nigel. Where do we start?
Well, I think the best place we could start with is with a notebook and pen. When things start to happen, you can write them down, note the times, because if you're frightened, it's very difficult to remember anything.
So what's this then, Angela, a masterpiece?
Well, not quite perhaps, but what we do is draw a circle around the base of the cup in this instance, and then if the cup moves on its own, we will immediately see, because obviously it won't be any longer within the circle.
Oh, what a crafty idea. So you're actually marking the position of the cup, and if it has budged a bit,
Yes.
there could be something going on.
That's right.
Very crafty.
Yes.
So, Nigel, why on earth are we sprinkling flour on the floor?
If we leave the room when we've done it, come back later, and there's footprints in the flour, we may well have caught a ghost.
But this is getting really good now. So what's this bit of ingenuity?
Well, this is a piece of cotton that I've attached to the door on that side. Now I'm attaching it to the door on this side. So if anybody opens the door and walks through, the cotton will be broken. So you'll know if it's a real person that's walked through the door. If it's a ghost, they don't need to open the door.
OK, Let's test it out. Everything seems set up. All we have to do now is to wait and wait for a ghost. Well, thanks for those tips, you two. It looks like if there really are ghosts, then these traps could well be the way to catch them.
But of course, no one really knows whether ghosts do exist or if you can catch them. But if you do think you see one, try and get evidence. We'd love to see it.
Hi, I'm Rosalind Reynolds from Clacton-on-Sea in Essex. What happened one evening late September in 1982 completely changed my life. It was a normal evening and me and my boyfriend was driving to Corby to visit our relatives. We started going down a hill and just underneath some power cables and this multicoloured horseshoe-shaped group of lights just flew really fast over the top of the car. It actually came over the car from like that side to this side and back again. As we was driving along the road it was following us and then the car stopped, it just died. We just coasted to the side of the road and the last thing I remember was seeing my boyfriend actually leaning under the bonnet checking the engine to see if there's something wrong. Gradually over the years I've remembered that I went and there was about 5 or 6 of them, about 3'6" high, big heads, big eyes, and I went with them onto this craft. I can't remember what happened on board, but I'll never forget that smell and I know I'll never forget that day as long as I live.
So what was it that Rosalind saw that night? Could she really have seen a UFO? Could she really have met with aliens? Well, we've researched the whole area where Rosalind experienced the incident. And we found that less than 2 years earlier, on the 27th of December 1980, at RAF Woodbridge in Suffolk, 2 Air Force officers on night patrol also saw a multicoloured object hovering just above the ground. Could this be a similar UFO to the one Rosalind saw? Well, we spoke to Philip Mantle, the Director of Investigations for the British UFO Research Association.
We have investigated Rosalind's experience and have found no reason to doubt her story.
Could Rosalind have been one of the handful of people in this country who believe they've had a close encounter with aliens? Or was it just a figment of her imagination? What do you think?
People think that I'm mad or crazy or making this up. I know what happened, I was there and I've looked into this. Something took me out of that car.
It's a mystery to me why you can't tickle yourself.
Neil, you're not going to tickle me, are you? Because I hate being tickled. If anyone gets anywhere near me, then I just start to laugh. But it's really funny because I can't tickle myself.
Well, you see, it's all to do with the great unknown. Just watch this. Now, if I put my finger here, it's not funny, is it?
No.
And if I tell you I'm going to put my finger here, that's not funny, is it?
No.
But if I do this...
No, Neil, get off! Stop it.
You see, it's funny. You didn't know what I was going to do. And it's all to do with the anticipation of the unknown. Now, the problem is, if you try to tickle yourself, your brain knows exactly what your fingers are going to do because your brain operates your fingers, so it's not funny. There's no anticipation there.
Oh, OK, then. Well, look, I'll try it on you. Just slip your shoe and sock off for a minute.
No chance.
Look, you see, you're already anticipating that I'm going to do something, aren't you?
I'm not going to let you.
What does this mean to you? So you're doing it again?
Yeah, I suppose I am, actually.
Oh, go on,
OK,
take
go on and try it. Hang on. Do you want the socks off as well?
Yep.
You fool. Hang on. Here we go.
Right.
Go on.
Now, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to put this feather on the bottom of your foot, OK?
Go on.
All right?
That's not funny.
No.
That's not funny. Go on.
That's right. So I'm going to move the feather up your foot, all right?
Yeah, so far so good. That's
No?
not funny. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it works. Get off.
You're right, you see. It's all in the anticipation.
It's good, isn't it? Try this. Just tickle me again. Hold on, let me just compose myself. There we go.
All right. You sure?
Go on, go for it.
OK. Hey, it's not working. Why isn't it working?
Well, you see, it's my little anti-tickle trick. You see, the theory goes that if someone's going to tickle you and you're really ticklish, all you have to do is think of something really boring and it completely takes your mind off being tickled.
Oh, OK. Well, you try it on me.
All right, you ready for this?
Yep, hang on. Let me try and think of something really boring. Oh, I know. My old maths teacher. She was boring. All right, then.
OK, compose yourself.
OK.
Ready for this? There you go, you say. Good, isn't it?
It really works. It's amazing.
It really does work. A way to stop being tickled.
And why you can't tickle yourself.
It's a mystery what lies in the deep, dark depths of another world.
We recently managed to get hold of photographic evidence of the existence of creatures from a dark and mysterious world, which exists in and beyond the Twilight Zone.
These creatures manage to live in conditions so treacherous that no single human could ever survive. Some of these creatures even have luminous body parts. Others have strange, and some would say gruesome eating habits. Weird, but what are they? Where do you think these creatures come from?
Well, in actual fact, these are photographs of real-life aliens, but not aliens from space. These are aliens from the deep. They live in the depths of our own oceans, the most unexplored place on this planet. The oceans become darker and more treacherous the deeper you go. Down to 200 metres is an area known as the sunlit zone. Here it's still warm and sunny with plenty of animal and plant life. Below the sunlit zone, to a depth of 1,000 metres, is an area known as the twilight zone because there's little or no light. It's too dark for plants to survive, and some of the strangest creatures known to man come from here. Deeper than 1,000 metres is a world of almost complete darkness known as the deep sea zone.
Under the sea, in the deepest, darkest areas, the water can be very cold, colder than inside a fridge. Because of these conditions, food is scarce, and the weird creatures that live down there never know when the next meal is going to come along. So they have developed some strange ways of coping. The teeth on this fanged toothfish are incredibly sharp, so that when the fish does find something to eat, there's no way it can escape. And this fish is known as the giant swallower. It can eat something that may be 3 times its own size in one mouthful, and then it stores it inside its stretchy stomach. Now that's like us swallowing a fully grown tiger and walking around with it inside us.
And because the bottom of the sea is such a world of darkness, some of the creatures have parts of their bodies that are luminous. They literally glow in the dark. This squid has lights along its body so that it can attract prey and communicate with other squid. And this anglerfish has a kind of fishing rod attached to the top of its head with a tiny glowing bobble at the end. It uses that to entice unknowing prey straight towards its razor-sharp teeth.
It's amazing how some of these deep-sea creatures have adapted in ways more weird than anyone can ever imagine, more gruesome than any alien from another universe, and yet they live right here in our oceans.
So yet again, we've managed to find a solution to some of the world's strangest mysteries.
So join us next time when we will be investigating some more baffling phenomena.
But let's just leave you with one last mystery to solve.
A strange collection of objects were found discarded on a lawn. A stripy football scarf, 5 black buttons, and an old carrot. If nobody put them there, then how did they get there?
Can you solve the mystery? We'll reveal the answer next time.
Last week's final mystery was: a woman watched her husband fall off a cliff. She then returned to find him sitting safely at home. How could that be? he was a stuntman.